Hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to the DCS news for the 10th of December 2022. I hope you all enjoyed that most recent video in the Hornet tutorial series, all about the AGM-84D Harpoon anti-shipping missile. Took me a little while. It's been some time before I've been able to return to the F-18 due to the bugs with the guided missiles, but they seem to now be addressed. The Harpoon was working great when I was filming that video, so I think I can go back in and finish up the Harpoon series at last. Welcome to the stream, Paul Dillon, and welcome everyone else who might be there. I'm going to continue on the F-18 series. It shouldn't take me too much longer to finish that, and then we'll continue with the F-14 videos. In the meantime, of course, I will always be releasing addendums and bonus videos with other aircraft as and when appropriate. Welcome to the stream, Griff Nizzle. You like boat stuff. Haha, very good. We have a fairly fun week this week. There's been a bunch of stuff going on, lots of interesting things for us to talk about. But perhaps we shall start, as always, with the Eagle Dynamics newsletter. Welcome to the stream, Mr. Yeti. Bonjour, monsieur. So, let's jump straight into that. Dear fighter pilots, partners and friends, we are pleased to share further progress on the real-time lighting technology that was initially implemented in the DCS Persian Gulf map. Check out the development screenshots. 3 new features are coming to DCS AH64D, the pilot model from the first-person view, the performance page. The image auto tracker mode will be included in the next open beta update. Please watch Matt Wagner's AH64D IAT video. Well, we will in just a moment. DCS F-18C Rise of the Persian Lion 2 campaign by Badger 633 is coming soon. This campaign requires DCS Supercarrier, DCS F-18C Hornet, and DCS Persian Gulf. And drop by the Virtual Airshow Festival this weekend to check out some impressive aerobatic displays with 56 teams and 26 hours of streaming. This is the biggest virtual airshow yet. The event will be broadcasted live from the Clyn d'Alès Aviation Museum in Payerne, Switzerland. I hope I pronounced any of that even something approaching correct. Thank you for your passion and support. Yours sincerely, Eagle Dynamics. Okay, before continuing, I'll jump back into the chat there. Welcome, Zigzag. Mr. Yeti, sorry, should be Swedish. Hey. Hur du? Pink Floyd, welcome. Dancer, welcome. Chandro Hedgevald, welcome. And Nico Persianen. Sorry, I'm terrible at pronouncing names. I apologise. I'm just going to say Nico. So welcome to the stream. Really great to have everyone along for the ride. And like I said, this is quite an exciting news week that we've got. We've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. So welcome aboard. Mr. Yeti, see if you can spot all the Easter eggs in WAG's email. I count 3. Ooh, okay. Good challenge, Mr. Yeti. I actually didn't realise there were Easter eggs in here, so now I need to pay attention. Very good. Nico, I just saw JP Ferrer's new DCS video, The Right Stuff. That's really cool. I saw that posted on our Discord as well. Welcome, Mangash. Welcome, Chris Sharp. Welcome, Mr. Oh, yeah, you already said welcome, Mr. Yeti. Not in his email, in his video. Okay, well, he always has fun stuff in his video. I actually didn't pay that much attention to it, so we're going to watch it together. Don't worry, I'll take a little peek with all of you. Channel Right, good evening. You're going to catch up with the stream later. You're off to watch an England match. Oh my. But yes, as you say, an exciting week for DCS announcements. Nico, my name continues to be a minefield for all native English speakers. Yes, I'm sorry. I'll try harder next time. Sam, hi Deepak, just wanted to thank you for the F-16 training videos. You've enabled this civil pilot to get into DCS properly. I'm really happy to hear that. That's exactly why I post these tutorials. Manuals are great, documentation is great, but so many of us are visual learners, and so having videos like these, I know I've benefited greatly from, the fantastic content that other DCS creators have put on YouTube, and I'd like to do my part. Grimnir, no need to be sorry. So anyway, let's continue. Persian Gulf development progress. We continue to work on the real-time lighting technology. In the next update, you can expect to see the new lighting for several ports of Dubai. Some oil tankers and rural houses have also had their lighting updated. We're now working on integrating this technology to all rural, industrial and unique buildings, such as the Burj Khalifa. We look forward to your feedback on this impressive improvement. I wonder if they've given us any images. They have not. The best I can do is zoom in this screenshot and make it look really grainy. But yes, the Persian Gulf map is already looking fantastic. I know that we're going to see these lighting enhancements to all of the other maps in kind of soon, basically. And I believe that the South Atlantic map is going to have them fairly shortly. So that's pretty exciting. Sam SC, I am just that, a visual learner. Ah, fantastic. Well, there you go. That's exactly why I make these, because I like documentation. I like to have a good read, but sometimes it's so much quicker just to watch a video. So that's why I do it. AH64D development report. The next open beta update will include 3D animated pilot and co-pilot gunner models from the first-person perspective. The update will also include an image auto-track IAT with multi-target track sub-mode. The performance page will be at a complete state. Improvements have been made to the flight model and flight control system, with further work planned. DCS AH64D is one step closer to being available in the free trial program. Please stay tuned for more information and watch Matt Wagner's video on the H64D on the IAT and MTT. This is really cool technology because actually some of the targeting pods that we have in DCS right now have MTT functionality, but it has not been implemented, and I don't know if that's perhaps because the module makers are waiting for ED to add it to the SDK. Who knows, maybe this is, once it's in the Apache and stabilized, perhaps they'll make this available in the SDK and other aircraft can make use of it. Because of course it's the Lightning 2, I think, that we have in the Harrier. It has MTT and we have the push button for it, but it currently does nothing. So it'd be really cool to see this added to other aircraft. Early next year, you may look forward to the new AGM-114L radar-guided Hellfire missile. I always thought this was funny that the L model is not the laser-guided one, it's the radar-guided one. They missed an opportunity there. And the improved data modem for networked operations. The option of the auxiliary fuel tank or extra gun ammunition is also coming soon. Early next year, we'll also see the beginning of fire control radar FCR development. That's going to be exciting because, of course, that is the system, the longbow system for which the aircraft gets its name. So that's going to be very, very cool. Griff Nizzle, glad to hear it. Feels like PG has kind of been put on the shelf with Syria getting a lot of MP love. To be fair, airport layout is a bit harder to work in systems like ECW or TBF. Syria, of course, doesn't have the new lighting yet, so you could say, although Syria has had a lot of love in the last few months, it's now taking a back seat while Persian Gulf gets the new lighting first. Mr. Yeti, Grimnir, please sit at the back of the class and don't be late next time. Not at all. You can drop in whenever you like. You can even watch this after the fact. You don't have to be here live. Although, of course, that's the most fun, to join us live, to engage in the chat. I always encourage everyone who's watching live to engage in the chat, ask questions, make comments. It's all good fun. Next item, Rise of the Persian Lion 2, F-18C Hornet campaign. DCS F-18C Rise of the Persian Lion 2 campaign by Badger 633 follows on from Ford and Matrix's exploits in the Straits of Hormuz on board the USS Abraham Lincoln. The campaign is immersive and has an engaging set of missions linked together with a developing narrative. Look out for this campaign in the next open beta. And then, last item on the newsletter, International Air Festival Virtual Air Show. International Virtual Air Show VIAF 2022 on the 10th and 11th of December, which is today and tomorrow. The AF will feature 56 of the best virtual aerobatic teams from around the world. It'll be broadcast live from the Clyn d'Alès Aviation Museum. Check out the VIAF 2022 schedule. Enjoy 26 hours of aerobatics. I hope it's not one pilot. He'll be very tired. An interactive with an ex-Hornet pilot, a DCS AH64D, and a DCS F-15E Hornet giveaway, and more surprises. The entire airshow will be streamed on the Virtual Airshow Festival Twitch this weekend. Thank you again for your passion and support. Fantastic. Mangash, yikes, I don't have enough buttons on my collective for FCR. Yeah, you're going to need some more buttons. So far, I've mostly been flying as a CPG, and so I've actually been using an Xbox controller, and I'm definitely going to have to start setting up some modifier keys, because the Xbox controller doesn't have enough buttons. Pink Floyd, voice attack to the rescue. A Romon noodle, sorry. Will the Harrier get any kind of future updates? Well, yeah, of course it will. And did the Harrier ever have a radar system for air-to-air? I love this airframe, but it seems to have its limitations. Maybe my new favourite. It's actually the aircraft that I fly the most. I really like the Harrier. The version that we have simulated is the night attack version, which does not and has never had a radar. Its primary sensor is the DMT, dual mode tracker in the nose, although for modern operations, people will tend to carry the Lightning II targeting pod. There is, of course, the AV8B Harrier 2 Plus, and that's the version that they made after the night attack, and it does have a radar. And I think it's even cleared to carry AMRAAM. I hope I'm not... No, I don't think I'm wrong. I think it's cleared to carry some versions of AMRAAM. So for a period in time, the US Marines were using it for fleet defense. But it's the original radar. It carries the original radar from the F-18C. Before they upgraded those aircraft with more modern radars. So it has air-to-ground modes and ground mapping, but that is the 2+. That is not the NA, which is what we have in the sim right now. Dancer, so from the way the newsletter is worded, we'll be getting the radar-guided Hellfire first and the FCR later. What am I missing here? Is there a way to use the L without the FCR? No, actually. There is no way to use the radar-guided version without. So, actually, thank you, Dancer. That's a good point. Early next year, you may look forward to the new AGM-114L radar-guided Hellfire missile and the improved data modem. Early next year, we will also see the beginning of the fire control radar development. Yeah, you're not going to get the radar-guided Hellfire before you have the radar. So yeah, that's worded a little bit strange. I actually didn't pick up on that. Folks on Raz Discord been asking for AIM-9L for reasons. They've talked about maybe a Sea Harrier, maybe. Razbam have always been fairly open about the fact that they would like to do a Sea Harrier, if possible. But the limiting factor has always been the availability of documentation. The UK MOD is still not happy to release documentation on the Sea Harrier, even though it's not been in service for a while now. They still consider certain parts of it, like the radar, I think, to be classified. Mr. Yeti, I think there was a podcast recently where they interviewed someone, could have been Reflected, who said the AV-8B was going to get some updates similar to the Mirage recently. Razbam have been fairly clear that they do still intend to implement some stuff in the Harrier. Most notable, I remember them mentioning, was the DTC. And I think they were going to add some more functionality potentially to the data link to the ATHS, but they did caveat that by saying it would be dependent upon subject matter experts telling them whether or not that functionality was present or had ever been used. So, like, the ATHS is an interesting system because while it exists in the jet, my understanding is that it was never used that much, apart from the functionalities that we already have with regards to receiving target points from a JTAG. Yeah, Harrier 2 Plus had radar. It's the delay on the chat, that's the problem. By the time you guys type something, I might have already said it. Sam SC, I know this is unrelated, but are you interested in the C-130 that's coming? Oh boy, am I interested in the C-130. Yes. I really can't wait. Super interested in the tanker too. Really keen to see how it'll fit online. Quite the target. Well, that's true, of course. You're not going to be flying a C-130 in contested airspace. That's a really good way to become aluminium confetti. But it has a whole load of really interesting systems. And of course, it has the ability to drop the Moab. It has the ability to drop parachute retarded cargo. It can carry paratroopers. It can be an air-to-air refueler. Of course, it can be a transport. It has an air-to-ground mapping radar. It has quite advanced avionics. You could probably even use it as a radio relay or a kind of a command and control asset. Pretty cool aircraft. I'm very, very excited to see that in the game. I wouldn't give any details, but I've sat in one in real life, and I was very, very impressed. And there's a person, a member of the VAF, who is an ex-maintainer for the type, and so I'm sure he's going to be very, very excited as well. Zigzag, any news on DCS combined arms and better AAA SAM user-controlled models? No, it's something that ED have mentioned from time to time that they would like to do, but we don't have any recent updates on that, so I don't have any news to share. Paul Dillon, I'm sure you could get the information on the FRS-1 over the FA-2. My understanding is that we can't really get information on either. Maybe that's out of date now. Who knows? Maybe that's been superseded at some point, but certainly the information before was that we couldn't get it. Matt Jones, if the planets align well, get the GR7. Yeah, I don't think we're getting a GR7 anytime soon, sadly. That's in a similar boat. Okie dokie. So, moving on, we have this fantastic new video from Daddy Wags, all about the image auto tracker. This is really, really cool. Up until now, we've had to use the motion compensation, I think it's called, which is basically a manual way of setting a slew rate on the camera. We can now actually pick up targets using contrast, using the TADs, and it will automatically track, which is really, really cool. And we have the ability to track up to 3 moving targets at once. The system also has the ability to estimate the position of the target even when it passes behind obstructions for a period of time using the inertial system. So very, very cool indeed. Nico, can we get info on Buccaneer? I have no information on the Buccaneer. The only thing that we've ever seen of it was some early renderings. We don't know anything about Buccaneer. Easter eggs. Mangash reminding me for the Easter eggs. So I'm guessing that what he's referring to is that it looks like this is the Sinai map that we were flying overhead there. We're not going to look at the controls bit because that's probably not very interesting to watch, especially without the audio, but we will jump forward to the part where he demonstrates the system in action. Pyramids, nice. Yes, so I think it's clear that this is the Sinai map as yet unreleased. So yeah, he's pointing out the manual track switch, just as I mentioned, and we now will have the IAT, that little rocker switch on the left-hand side. So again, let's bump this forwards a little bit, and he's going to start demonstrating what this looks like. So here we are, we're on the TADs, we're in the front seat, and he's going to show us using the FLIR, the thermal sight, the ability to track a moving target. So basically, you move your crosshairs over and you push your rocker switch forwards into the IAT position. There you go. He now is moving track number 1. Oh, okay. Mr. Yeti is far too observant. So, second Easter egg, 1,200 rounds of gun. I had not seen that. Well spotted. So we're going to get a bit more gun. What is the standard loadout for the gun? Is it more like 200 or 300? I can't even remember. Certainly less than 1,200. That's a lot. That's looking a bit more like an A10. I forget how many rounds the A10 carries, but I remember it being a lot. So anyway, we'll bounce this forwards a little bit. This was only on the early Apaches, says Mangash. Okay, I'm going to bounce this forwards, because we're going to take a little look at the multi-target. Here we go. That's actually the next section. he's going to demonstrate the multi-target. Yeah, I thought it was around about 300. That was my recollection. So, here we go for multi-target. So you get your first one. Push forwards on IAT. Come on, you can do it. Bloop. Okay, there's number one. And I guess you can slew off of that whenever you want. Unless you're actually going to fire a missile there and then. And you can simply, I believe, hit IAT again to add additional tracks. And there you go. Here's the functionality. You've got your little flag showing you where number one is. Here, track number 2, and he's also going to demonstrate having 3 of these tracks, which is pretty damn cool if you ask me. And very impressive technology that it can do all of this optically, and when things are not on screen, it's simply using inertial tracking, which is very, very clever. Mr. Yeti, got to dash and put kids to bed. See if you can get the third one. Good luck. Okay, everybody, we need to pay very close attention now because Mr. Yeti is no longer here to help us. Yeah, I wonder what could be the third one. I guess the third one would be the fact that we have first-person bodies. Is that the third one? I don't know. Because, yeah, we're seeing his hands on the controller the whole time. That's not in the current version of the game. And they did mention that the first-person bodies were coming. Dancer, 300 with the Robbie fuel tank, 1,200 without. The option to choose between them is coming soon. Trademark. So anyway, yeah, basically he's just he's showing us how all of this works. Of course, this is pretty cool because you could track 3 targets automatically. You could fire a laser-guided Hellfire against the first, give yourself some kind of a delay, fire a second missile, and then again with a certain delay, fire a third missile, and then simply cycle them in sequence as you get the impacts. As long as they're close enough together, that should work. I'm terribly sorry if that made a loud noise. That should just work, trademark. So, yeah, let's see. I don't know if that's the kind of thing they would do in real life or not. Seems a little bit risky. But it does mean that you could probably get almost a simultaneous destruction of 3 vehicles at a time. You know, you imagine a larger convoy like this, if you had 2 or 3 or 4 Apaches, you could pretty much destroy the entire convoy using Hellfire missiles in a single pass, almost simultaneously. So, pretty cool tech. As always, I strongly recommend you jump onto Matt Wagner's channel and check out the whole video. He goes into quite a lot of detail about how this works, and it looks really, really good. I'm actually going to let the video run to the end, though, because I'm still not 100% sure about this Easter egg. I guess we're on the Sinai map, we have 1,200 rounds of ammunition, and we have first-person pilot bodies. I think those are the 3 Easter eggs, but I'm now not sure. And that's the end of the video, so I guess we'll... Mr. Yeti might tell us later if we got it right or not. On to the next one. We got an absolutely fantastic video from the Razbam channel, all about the F-15E. We basically get a short demonstration of a mission in the F-15E, all flown from the front seat without a Wizzo. It's at night using the nav flare, but we also get another really, really nice demonstration of the air-to-ground patch mapping radar mode. And... it's quite a thing to behold. So I'm going to jump this one forwards a little bit so that we actually start to get to see the image from the nav flare. And this reminds me of my old Jane's Strike Eagle days. This is all coming back to me. Dancer, I think a guy in VAF will appreciate the option to annihilate a whole tank platoon in one go. Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. Paul Dillon, yeah, absolutely agree. This is a fantastic video. They've put together some actually really, really good stuff on the F-15. Some of it on Twitter, sadly, which I'm not a big fan of, and some of it right here on YouTube, which I'm much more of a fan of. Much more accessible, I think. So, here we go. There's the image, and he also starts to demonstrate, twiddling with the brightness and the contrast to, tweak the image. He also demonstrated a little bit earlier changing the level, which is an adjustment for the infrared image as well. He also goes over the fact that the nav flare, when projected in the HUD, of course, has some bleed through, so especially things that like light sources will still show through the glass, even when you have nav flare on. It's also worth noting that the nav flare camera is kind of below the level of the cockpit and to the right, so the image is very slightly offset. So what you see through the glass and what's presented in the nav flare image will not necessarily exactly line up. But yeah, here he's demonstrating the HUD repeater with the nav flare turned on. This is also something, yeah, he's about to demonstrate it now. This is also something accessible from the Wizzo seat in the rear. Pink Floyd, that F-15E cockpit, eye candy is the bomb. Zigzag, did I hear from last week this... there was being an update / work done on the F-15C single seat? I didn't hear anything about that, so I don't know. If anyone in chat is aware of that, go ahead and link me up. Another thing to note here, actually, he talks about it in the video, but you see this little bright area on the top left. That's actually the nose of your aircraft. The camera is positioned in such a way that the nose of your aircraft is actually within the field of view. So you lose that little bit of field of view there. Cool. Alrighty. So let's jump forwards a little bit more. He gets airborne, and he demonstrates the fact that terrain masks the radar image when you're in RBM mode. Let's go a little bit further forwards, and we'll start to take a look at him making patch maps of this airfield where he has I think it's a Tu-160 bomber that he wants to destroy. So it's pretty cool seeing that. These patch maps take a bit of time to generate, as you'll see. Depending on the zoom level, they can be up to kind of 10 seconds or so. However, the quality of the imagery available to you is very, very high. This almost looks like a photograph, but the entire thing is generated using only the radar, which is pretty cool. And a little bit later, once he actually uses the target point cursor on the radar, he also demonstrates slewing the targeting pod. In fact, I think that's what he's just about to do. He demonstrates slewing the targeting pod onto that target cursor, which is really, really cool. So you get this really high resolution kind of top-down view via the radar, and then you can also look at your target area using the targeting pod and perhaps even refine your target point. Now, on Twitter, they posted some videos, Razbam that is, further demonstrating the patch map generation, and this generated a little bit of controversy, but we'll go into that in just a minute. A rather amusing situation, perhaps not so amusing for Razbam. I'm sorry that they found themselves in this situation, but nonetheless, I think, yeah, a little bit of fun. Or at least they intended it to be a little bit of fun, and some people took it too seriously. It's the 2 weeks TM video, which in fact I'll simply quickly bring up just now. Yeah, Razbam CEO teases 2 weeks for DCS F-15E. You'll see that on this little video here that I think was this, Ron Zambrano. He generates a patch map of an area on an airfield. I'll actually jump it forwards a little bit. Here we go. This is another patch map of an airfield, and it ends up displaying the message 2 weeks TM. Now, of course, this is very, very tongue-in-cheek. This is one of our biggest memes when it comes to the flight sim community, where we always, whenever anyone asks how long until something is released, we always say 2 weeks, which generally means we don't know, but maybe soon. And I think Razbam were engaging with this little meme for a little bit of fun. You can see here 2 weeks TM right there in his patch map. They were engaging with this a little bit, but a lot of people who saw this perhaps were not familiar with the meme. And so a lot of people saw this and thought that it genuinely meant the F-15E is coming in 2 weeks. And our latest information, unfortunately, is that is not the case. On the Razbam Discord, in the last day or two, they posted messages stating that they no longer believe that they'll be able to release this year. The F-15E Strike Eagle is now coming in 2023, which is very unfortunate, but at the same time, I'm a big proponent of release it when it's ready. So I think this is absolutely for the best. If they released it too early, when it was not in a ready state, even though it's going to be early access, but you don't want your early access to be too early. yeah, I'm very, very happy that they're delaying it until it's ready. But yeah, a lot of people saw this and got themselves all into a frenzy, and poor Razbam on their Discord had to kind of shut down a lot of this discussion and say, no, we don't exactly mean in 2 weeks. In fact, it's not coming in 2022. So, unfortunate. Bill B, is it me or the F-15E will be so far in development at launch than any other jet that came in early access? I don't know. The F-14B is a good contender for an early access jet that's been the furthest along. We have also had a number of aircraft that have been released in a fully ready state and weren't even early access. One of the best examples being the JF-17 from Deca Ironworks Simulations. That was released in a really, really good condition. Chris Sharp, a brilliant joke though. I think it backfired a little bit, but yeah, having a typical response 2 weeks TM is kind of funny, but I think a lot of people didn't get it. Pink Floyd, I hope we at least get the BS3 for Christmas. That's still a possibility, I believe. Black Shark 3 might land for Christmas, but at this stage we're now not going to see the F-15E Strike Eagle, and I think the chances of seeing the F4 Phantom, although Heatblur have said the F4 Phantom is really close, I think the chances of seeing it for Christmas are very, very minuscule. I think we'll probably see the F4 early next year. Zigzag, combat drones and DCS, what do you think? Found that DCS and Harrier model helped greatly in flying my DJI Air 2 drone. Combat drones. I think combat drones would be a great addition. Of course, they're used in the present day. Probably something more that should be part of the combined arms module as opposed to being like a standalone module. I don't think anyone wants to buy the DJI Mavic DCS module necessarily, as good as DJI drones are. I would like to see those included though. I think they're definitely a good part of the modern battlefield. We of course already have the what one is it we have again? The Predator drone I think is already in the game, and I think that the China asset pack also included a Chinese drone as well. If I remember correctly. So, we have, of course, these fully fledged drone platforms, but it would also be quite cool, I think, to have in combined arms some of these small consumer-grade ones as well, possibly. Although what you would do with them on the battlefield exactly, I don't know, because they're only suited for reconnaissance. Leonetzel, good evening, late arrival. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the stream. Nico, if they open early access buying exactly 2 weeks after the video, this would be even more fun trolling. Yeah, the thing is, it is of course still possible that they'll open the pre-order. That's, pre-order is not impossible. But Razbam themselves have now said that no, the module will not be released this year. And yes, Stormbirds, very, very good blog, stormbirds.blog, for all your DCS and simulation news. And they've written an entire article about this. I'm not going to regurgitate all of this, but here you go. Here is the proof in the pudding. Razbam Gallinet, to be clear, no release in 2022. Crying emoji. Yeah, many have pointed to the TM in the original image as an indication that this was a joke. Unfortunately, not all of us got it. Anyway, so yeah, that was the Navflare video. Really, really cool. Very nice to see. Check it out. It's on Razbam's official YouTube channel. Some produce a series of videos all about the F-15E. Now, I don't know exactly what this is going to cover. This very first video that he's posted, he's titled Part 1 Introduction. He goes over the history of the aircraft and how it was adopted and so on. And it's really, really good. I like this guy's presentation. He has a really nice style, really easy to follow, and he goes into a lot of detail. And my understanding is that he's ex-aircrew himself. So he probably has quite a lot of insight himself, and he also talks with and interviews a lot of past and present aircrew. So fantastic channel. Go and check out his video, and go and check out his channel. Once again, 10% True, Tales from the Cockpit. Seems really, really good. So, lastly, again, we've got an article from Stormbirds. We've got a bunch of stuff from Heatblur. Vegan update, F-14D hints, and more from Heatblur. So, this is the biggie, F-14D. For a while now, we've been told that we're not getting the F-14D, and, well, we'll get to that. It might have changed. Heatblur have dropped a new update across all of their social media channels today with news and images. When we say today, this was actually 5th of December, about a significant upgrade to the DCS AGS-37 Viggen for DCS World. The Strike Fighter is a fan favourite and has gotten a real boost in recent years with the renewed interest and emphasis on Cold War era flying in DCS. Heatblur also drop a few hints about the possibility of an F-14D for DCS, and it doesn't hurt to recap what we know about the F-4. So, if you look at Heatblur's public roadmap, the DCS AGS-37 has a long list of upgrades planned for it. That list includes exterior PBR texture overhaul, dynamic, tactical and training numbers, a rebuilt collision model, improved pilot animations, custom exterior sound set, cockpit art overhaul, new afterburner system, a simplified PSD paint kit, more default liveries, visual damage model additions, and external model corrections. That's quite a bit. Heatblur in today's update have also noted that wing vapors, overhauled Maverick guidance and flight model improvements are planned. And check this out, doesn't it look nice? A lot of the aircraft in the sim already have this kind of thing. The Viggen, having such a strange wing form, has never had it. But is now going to get it, and I think this looks really good. I've actually seen Viggens at air shows, seeing as how I live in Sweden, that's not surprising, and this looks pretty accurate to me. This is what I've witnessed myself from Viggens doing manoeuvres at air shows. Really, really cool. It's unclear if all of these items on the public roadmap are coming in this new update, but it sounds like a good number of them will. Full changelog and more forthcoming according to Heatblur. Tomcat hints. From before the launch of the F-14A and B, Heatblur has been asked about the possibility of an F-14D. With an enhanced radar, new digital systems, upgraded cockpit, and various other changes, it became the ultimate F-14 in the US Navy before the type was retired. Today, they were asked again and answered with slightly certainty, I guess it's slight certainty, more certainty than we're used to hearing from them on the subject. When asked how difficult a D model would be, here was the answer: very tough, but we're moving in that direction as fast as we can, by gathering data and documentation to hopefully enable this sort of project in the future. Smiley face. This is of course not a confirmation of an F-14D arriving imminently to DCS. It does however suggest that Heatblur are making efforts to collect the data and details needed to recreate one in the future. That in itself is exciting, particularly for Tomcat fans, who have hoped to get a D model F-14 to complement the already excellent lineup of F-14A and B models. Keep in mind that we're actually getting, eventually we're going to have 3 different versions of the F-14A, including the Iranian version, and we've got the F-14B. So we already have 4 versions of the aircraft, and potentially we'll get a 5th. Heatblur, you know, they give too much. They're very, very kind people. Speaking of the already released F-14 models, we did learn that some quality of life updates are on the way this month. December patch will see a number of QOL improvements but no major new features. For example, wheel chocks, no more deck sliding, and eliminating bugs with mass and balance, causing reduced aircraft performance on subsequent flights. So, really, really cool. We don't have any news regarding the F-14A135GR or the 95GR, that's the Iranian versions, but they are intending to eventually bring those to the sim. So we currently have these 2 versions of the F-14, we're definitely getting 2 more, and we might get another one. So it's insane how many versions of the F-14 we're getting. Dancer, the amount of support third-party devs like Razbam and Heatblur are giving to their older modules is really quite impressive. Yep, couldn't agree more. It must be so much work for them, but they're really supporting these earlier aircraft. Nico, so F-14D in 2 weeks. No, I suspect not. And then, revisiting the F-4 and Eurofighter Typhoon. 2 other aircraft the Heatblur are developing also came up frequently today. On that, we don't have any new information, but doing a quick search of the DCS World forums reveals this post from Heatblur CEO Nicholas Deckard, dated November 15th, noting that both projects are underway. Here's what he had to say. Eurofighter is well underway, and the F-14 is nearing completion. Temporary silence does not imply anything regarding development. In late October, we did get an update from Nicholas regarding the F4 timelines and unexpected challenges and the progress they'd made on the module. Stormbirds reported about it at that time, but just a few weeks remaining before the end of the year, it seems unlikely the F4 Phantom will meet its originally stated end of 2022 goal. I'm sure it will be brilliant when it does arrive, though, and the same will be true of the Eurofighter. So yeah, I imagine the Eurofighter is a couple of years away. The F4, however, might turn up early next year, so rather exciting if you ask me. Pink Floyd, do you think it's even possible ED will let Christmas go by without any update or release? I can't see it. Well, we're definitely getting a further open beta update, and we might see Black Shark 3. Those are the two things that I think are certain for the end of this year. Anything other than that, don't know. Griff Nizzle, if Tomcat D done, it will 100% be separate paid module, or at least a paid upgrade. I don't know if Heatblur have commented on that. It would be reasonable to make it paid for, I think, but they haven't said. Tech Gaming 45, I thought Razbam said they'd only release a new module when the current ones were out of early access. Is it not the case that their current modules are out of early access? Because I don't think the Harrier is in early access. I don't think the Mirage 2000 is in early access. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think any of Razbam's current aircraft are in early access. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Bill B, BS3 is very possible 2022 release since it's already in Steam database. Yeah, that's true. It was kind of accidentally leaked there because of that. But yes, yeah, we're hopefully seeing the BS3 quite soon now. So that's all of the news articles that I have for the course of this week. Like I said at the beginning, it's been a rather exciting one. We've had quite a lot to cover here. Let me know, chat, if I've missed anything. That was, quite a busy week, but as always, it's almost certain that something has slipped underneath my radar, to use simulation terminology. And at this point, I think, as always, I will pimp the VAF. The VAF, or the Virtual Air Force, is a virtual online squadron that was originally started by myself and dotChuckles many moons ago, and it's grown quite a bit since we started it. We have, I'm thinking in our roster we have about 100 pilots, which is insane, and we now have an EU and NA time zones and activities associated with those two time zones. It's a opt-in milsim, an opt-in milsim style experience with the possibility to simply join the squadron as a freelancer, flying whatever aircraft type you want and flying with us whenever you want to. Or alternatively, if you want to conduct mandatory training and do your type rating, you can join one of our internal numbered squadrons, which include mandatory training. We currently have squadrons for the F-16, the F-18, the Harrier, and the A-10. We have a number of pilots who fly the F-14 and the Apache, but no formal squadron as of right now. And we're always open to opening additional squadrons. All we need are people willing to be squadron leaders and to run those squadrons, and pilots to fly the airframes. We do a training session every Tuesday at 8 PM UK time, and we do a mission every Thursday, also at 8 PM UK time. That's for the EU zone. I don't actually know the times and dates for the NA zone stuff. Please join our Discord, whether you fly with us or not. You'll find a link to the Discord in the show notes below. Everyone is welcome, whether you fly with us or not, so please drop in, have a chat. We talk about such varied subjects as cooking, the Ukraine war, simulation, aviation, and all other sorts of fun stuff. But yeah, it's a great place to hang out. Come and join us on the VAF Discord. If you want to fly with us, please shout out in the lobby, tell us what airframes you fly, and come join one of our squadrons. Griff Nizzle, 2023 and beyond predictions. I suspect glory shots of Phantom, Sinai, SPAD, and a big hint at the Vietnam map. That's a good shout, actually. I wonder, when are we going to get our 2023 and beyond? That'd be really nice to see. Pink Floyd 2023 will definitely announce modules set for 2028 release. James Rubo, did I miss the show? Almost. I'm actually kind of winding up just now, but I'm not done just yet. Don't worry, there's still a little bit to go. Feel free to post anything in the chat if you have questions or comments. Paul Dillon, hoping for F-15 and F4 early 2023. Yeah, I suspect that's when we're going to see those two, most realistically. So, I've been Deepak. I post a new tutorial video every Saturday at 7:30 PM my time. That's actually 6:30 PM UK time. And currently I'm finishing off my series in the F-18. Today I released my video on the Harpoon anti-shipping missile at last. Been waiting a while for that one. Next week I will continue with the SLAM and the SLAM-ER cruise missiles, which can be air-launched from the F-18C Hornet. So that'll be a big bit of fun. And that's always followed by the DCS news, which just happens to be this thing, what you're watching right now. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment. And if you'd like to further support the channel, you have the option to join Deepak's ground crew by pressing the join button below. For a very small monthly fee, I think it only comes out about $2 or something like that, you can support me in creating my content. And a big shout out to the current Deepak's ground crew members, Frantic Stone, Channel Right, Storm Kimbari, Byron Farrow, Leo Netzel, Harish Rajan, Mangash, Pink Floyd, J.R. Walker, Chandro Hedgewald, and Griff Nizzle. Thank you so much, all of you, for your support. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I salute you, fly safe, and I'll see you all next time. Ta-ta.